It was meant to be an evening of celebration, laughter, and ease. A small rooftop gathering with close friends, the city lights glittering behind us, soft music drifting through the air, the kind of atmosphere that makes everyone relax. But the moment I stepped in, my eyes locked on Vanessa, my fiancée, standing near a tall cocktail table, leaning slightly toward a man I barely knew. Her head tossed back as she laughed, the kind of light-hearted, flirtatious laugh I had once loved, but now it cut like ice. The warmth in her eyes, the casual brush of her hand along his arm, the way she angled her body toward him, all screamed betrayal. And when she caught me looking, her smile lingered, daring, almost challenging me to react. For a split second, I felt my body tense, a storm of anger, shock, and disbelief coursing through me. Yet outwardly I stayed calm, expression neutral, voice silent. I knew this wasn't simple flirting. This was a calculated performance, a public display meant to provoke, to embarrass, to assert control over me. The chatter and laughter of the room surrounded me, a stark contrast to the chaos swirling inside. I chose not to act impulsively, not to shout, not confront her. I understood that restraint held power. The longer I waited, the sharper the impact would be. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the engagement ring, the symbol of a promise I once cherished, now heavy with the weight of betrayal. Vanessa glimpsed it in my hand. For a fleeting moment, hesitation crossed her face, but it vanished almost instantly. Her focus returned to the man, her laughter spilling freely as she flipped her hair with a careless flick, an action that might have been charming if it weren't so deliberately provocative. My grip on the ring tightened. My heart raced, but my face remained calm. Every step, every gesture had to be precise, intentional, calculated to deliver maximum effect. I walked toward them slowly, deliberately, letting tension build naturally. The soft music, the clinking of glasses, even the ambient chatter faded into background as I approached, subtly drawing the attention of nearby guests. Vanessa glanced up as I neared, sensing something different, a controlled determination in my movement, a cold precision in my posture. I extended the ring toward her without a word, letting the silence speak volumes. In that moment, everyone around us sensed that something significant was happening, though the full story remained unseen. Her eyes widened as she registered the gesture. I was calm, composed, unshakable, a pillar of control standing against the chaos she had created. The ring in my hand had transformed. No longer a symbol of love, it was now a silent indictment, a reflection of her choices, her audacity, and the consequences she had earned. Vanessa's confident, playful mask faltered. The man beside her, one smug and relaxed, shifted uncomfortably as he realized the gravity of what was unfolding. Slowly, deliberately, I placed the ring on the nearest table. The gesture so calm, so intentional, that it carried more weight than any shouted confrontation ever could. The room seemed to hold its breath. Vanessa's smile wavered, color draining from her face as the truth hit. The control she had assumed she possessed, the daring she relied on, crumbled in one silent, measured motion. I stayed quiet, letting the reality of her actions speak for itself. The man beside her stiffened, powerless, just as Vanessa was. Whispers began to ripple through the crowd, eyes drawn to the scene before them. She instinctively reached for the ring as if to reclaim her dignity, but I didn't move. My silence magnified the moment, letting her panic show in the faint tremor of her hands, the quick dart of her eyes, the shallow breaths betraying her composure. For the first time that evening, she was truly exposed. She tried to explain, stumbling over words, frantic and fractured. I didn't mean it's not what it looks like, but every syllable deepened her humiliation. Every gesture emphasized the absurdity of her position. The carefully maintained charm she had relied on to manipulate the room disintegrated before everyone's eyes. The crowd, initially oblivious, now watched in stunned silence. Her confidence evaporated under the weight of undeniable truth. I said nothing, defended nothing, justified nothing. My silence and composure had more impact than any outburst could. The room felt heavy, tense with unspoken judgment. Vanessa realized, finally, that her attempt at control, at manipulation, had utterly failed. The quiet authority with which I revealed the truth left her powerless and humiliated. Every guest sensed the shift, the complete reversal of power. Vanessa's face was pale, her lips parted, hands trembling. The man beside her recoiled, understanding he had no influence here. Guests exchanged glances, some whispering, some wide-eyed, witnessing a private betrayal exposed in public. I remained calm, a silent reminder of the consequences of her choices. Every flinch, every stammer, every faltering attempt at charm underscored the impact of measured composure. Finally, I turned and stepped back, leaving the ring on the table, a silent monument to truth. Vanessa's frantic attempts to defend herself fell flat. The deliberate exposure of her actions, without yelling or spectacle, left her powerless. The weight of public shame and the undeniable consequences of her choices crashed down at once. By the end of the night, the lesson was clear, quiet, and devastating. Vanessa had tried to flaunt, manipulate, and provoke, but the truth was plain for all to see. I had stayed silent, composed, and entirely in control, letting her actions speak for themselves. The reversal of power, the shock, and humiliation were total. The audacity she had relied on had met calm, unshakable authority, and the consequences were unforgettable.